friends, and welcome back to Steins Gate. We just got to the part where the Future Gadget Lab found out what the lifter was, which was the 42-inch CRT TV downstairs in the Brawn Tube workshop. Okabe got smacked or punched, and now he's on a mission to go back downstairs to turn on the TV so that they can make sure that their upgraded phone wave works. When I get downstairs, Suzuha and the chipmunk are sitting side by side on the bench outside. Nate gives me a quick bow, then hides behind Suzuha. As shaking upstairs put the boss in a bad mood, Nate and I are waiting it out. Damn, now I really don't want to go in there. Are you okay? Dad hit you pretty hard. I'll have you know that my brain is more valuable than the Mona Lisa. Your father may have set humanity back 100 years by wiping out my brain cells. Such a regrettable loss. Suzuha clasps her hands in solemn prayer. I'm not dead, just my brain cells. I'm sorry, Daddy did something bad. Chipmunk, what a gentle heart you have. I can't believe she's Mr. Braun's daughter. I suppose I share some of the blame. Your father and I are even. Nay smiles lightly at my words of comfort. Now then, part-time warrior, I have a request of you. I need you to distract Mr. Braun for about 5 seconds. Suzuha's eyes start to shine. You mean seduce him? She flexes her bicep for some reason. Ruka? About Mayuri-chan. You and Mayuri-chan don't go places together? You're both lab members, and I heard you were childhood friends, so I thought, I'm sorry if I misunderstood. P.S. I did 30 practice swings with Samidari. Good for you, Ruka. Go on, touch it. She insists, so I poke it. It's just as hard as her confidence suggests. She's probably stronger than me. But I don't understand what flexing has to do with seduction. Nobody said anything about seduction. It doesn't matter how you do it. I'm not much of a warrior if I can't handle that. Besides, you said you'd help me search for my father, right? I'm only returning the favor. I see. Then I leave it in your capable hands. Okie dokie. Suzuha, don't be mean to Daddy, okay? Haha, don't worry. I won't be mean. Indeed. I want to complain that he's the one being mean. But I just said we were even, so I refrain. Wait here, Nay. The chipmunk nods. When we enter the store, we can find Mr. Braun cleaning up pieces of broken CRT. When our eyes meet, another bane pops on his forehead. If you came to apologize, I'll listen, but your rent's going up, understand? I'm sorry about what happened. I overreacted. As a token of apology, my lab's representative, Anime Suzuha, would like to present you with a gift. Boss, get ready. With a vigorous shout, in which no way seems appropriate for seduction, Suzuha whips off her jacket and... yeah! Throws it into Mr. Braun's face. What the fuck? I can see her bra. No, wait, that's not a bra, but a tight tank top that leaves her midriff bare. Yet Suzuha shows no sign of embarrassment as she rushes Mr. Braun. She slips behind him, grabs her coat, and pulls it tight against his face. Okabe Rintaro, now's your chance. Now wait just a second. Is this your idea of seduction? It looks like you're trying to suffocate him. Hurry! Mr. Braun flails his arms, trying to escape Suzuha's restraint. There's a huge difference in strength between the two. It's only a matter of time before he shakes Suzuha off. Oh, well done, warrior. Your heroism will be remembered. Realizing that the only choice is to go for it, I dash to the counter, grab the remote, and switch on the 42-inch CRT. After about 2 seconds, an image appears on the giant screen. At the same time, the ceiling starts shaking. Curious activated the phone wave with perfect timing. It's shaking again, Okabe Rintaro. What's going on? Did she really take off her clothes without knowing why? You're a lifesaver, part-time warrior. If you can, keep him restrained for another 10 more seconds. During that time, I escape from the store. Outside, Nae's following earthquake drill procedure, crouching while protecting her head. I ignore that and look up to the second floor. At exactly the same time, Kirisu appears in the window and gives me a happy thumbs up. But a second later, she blushes, shoots me a glare, and disappears inside as if nothing happened. What's with her attitude? I'm risking my life here. In any case, the experiment was a success. The 42-inch CRT was the key, as I suspected. Now, how do I explain this to Mr. Braun? I don't want him to kick us out of the building. Perhaps I shouldn't have left it to Suzuha. I timidly peek into the store to gauge the situation. Come on, boss, give me back my jacket. Suzuha is there, fidgeting with her tank top as Mr. Braun glares down at her. Shut up. I'm confiscating this. You pervert. You're the pervert throwing your shirt in my face like some kind of dancer. That was pretty kinky. Gotta remember to thank Okabe after I kill him. That was pretty kinky! Oh my god. Kinky? Don't say things like that. It's gross. Anyway, you can work like that the rest of the day. Go stand out front and use that flat tummy of yours to attract customers. I'll tell Nae on you. Who's she gonna believe? You or her old man? Damn. No problems here. Suzuha's seduction strategy worked, I guess. Mr. Braun, what a guy. A little while later, I'm lying on the sofa watching high school baseball. Kumamoto and Aichi are locked in a fierce struggle for the playoffs. Just then, the clack-clack of the sewing machine in the lounge suddenly stops. Ocarine, can you come here? She motions to me while holding the costume. What does she want? I walk over to her. Can you hold this for me? Spread it out like flap. Ryushi, say flap again. Flap. I got a flap. Stop it already, perv. I follow Mary's direction and spread the costume out by the sleeves. She inspects it from a few paces away. It's hard to believe given her usual ditziness, but Mary is very serious about her art. That's why cosplayers value her costumes so highly. The costume I'm holding now is custom made for Rukako. I thought Rukako was against it, but I guess Mary managed to persuade her. Okay, thanks. Mary looks tired. She's been working all night. But that doesn't dim the brightness of her satisfied smile. Finished. It's done? Yep, I finished before Christian. We were racing. You win, Mary. Congratulations. Damn you, assistant. She treats me and Jaru like garbage, but Mary gets the sisterly touch. Actually, I'm just about finished too. Kurisu connects two cords she's holding. Done. Celebration is in order. But nobody cheers. It's a tie. Man, I'm tired. I want Ferris Tan to comfort me. Honestly, I don't feel like cheering either. And it's not because I'm tired. We worked around the clock for 3 straight days to finish the time leap machine, but now that it is complete, I realize that part of me never truly believed it would happen. I feel my enthusiasm cooling rapidly, the fire quenched by one stark question. What do we do with it? I look at Kurisu. She, too, seems less than enthused. We may have created a monster here. I look at the improved phone wave again. The biggest change is the headgear attached to the X68000. It looks like something out of a low-budget cyberpunk movie. Fortunately, we don't need nerve jacks or brain chips for it to work. You just put it on and let the sensors do the rest. Why don't we decide what to call it first? I vote Heavenly Express. Phone Wave 3rd edition version 1.00. Silly hat Phone Wave Chan. No consensus. You guys have too much free time. Does that mean you're abstaining from the vote? Time leap machine. That's terrible. Come on, simple is best, right? I mean, that's what Okabe's been calling it for the past 2 days. Looks like my assistant has zero naming sense. I don't want to hear that from a Chunibiyu headcase like you. Oh ho, so Maki says she knows the word Chunibiyu. I sense her otaku level is quite high. I heard it from a friend. I have no idea where it comes from. Ha, a bald-faced lie. She should just confess to being an at-channeler. Kirisu meets my grin with an icy glare. It's up to you, Mayuri. Choose one. Whenever the lab is divided on a name, the right to decide belongs to Mayuri. I think Time Leap Machine is fine. Silly Hat Foam Wave Chan is super close, though. Somehow I knew she'd say that. Like I said, simple is best. Mayuri gets it. I want to object, but it's an unwritten rule not to complain once Mayuri's made a decision. Very well, Time Leap Machine it is. Assistant, explain to us all how the Time Leap Machine works. I know the basics, but I want to hear details. Kirisu nods and stands in front of the whiteboard. In short, this device converts memories to data and then sends them to the past. Let's begin with what we all know. By freak coincidence, the phone wave is able to produce ring singularities much like John Teeter's time machine. Through the ring singularity, we are able to send up to 36 bytes of data to the past. The signal can only be received by phones. While that does limit the range of effect, it also removes an element of uncertainty from the equation. Unlike emails, memory data is sent in the form of a phone call, so we will be using a phone number, not an email address, to set the destination. The ring singularity is made naked and stable by a device known as a lifter. In our case, that's the 42-inch CRT downstairs. She explained the basics. Next, she'll explain the modifications she made to turn the phone wave into a time leap machine. The phone wave now has a headgear attached. The headgear records the nerve impulses in the temporal lobe of the brain, specifically the CA3 region of the hippocampus where memories are stored. I like this picture. Using VR technology, we can encode the nerve impulses into electrical signal data. It comes out to approximately 3.24 terabytes. 3.24 terabytes is less than I expected. We're talking about the entirety of a person's memories. By the way, we'll set it up so that the data decodes automatically after a certain amount of time. Anybody well-versed in programming can do this. I had Hashida make the code. Anyway, next we send the memory data through the net to the LHC in France. This building has a direct line to CERN for some reason, so we can transfer data at insanely high speeds. How long does it take to send the 3.24 terabytes of data? We have 64 direct lines in parallel, so if we send it in 64 parts, it should upload in about 45 seconds. That's pretty fast. Next, we hijack the LHC, create a mini black hole, use that black hole supergravity to compress the data into 36 bytes. 3 terabytes is about 3 trillion bytes. Compressing that into just 36 bytes. That's one hell of a squeeze. Will the compression take long? It's practically instantaneous. 23 milliseconds or thereabouts. We're using a black hole after all. By the way, the compression only holds in the immediate vicinity of the black hole. Once the data leaves that area, it will begin to decompress on its own. This too takes 23 milliseconds. It has to make it back to the X68000 and into the phone wave within that window. It's only 36 bytes. Shouldn't be a problem. Continue, Christina. While the data is being compressed, we use the phone wave to generate a Kerr ring singularity. When the electron discharge phenomenon occurs, we take the 36 byte data, patch it in, and send it to the past. This part is just like a D-mail. The data travels to the specified time, where it arrives at the recipient's phone. By now, 23 milliseconds should have passed, so the data will be fully decompressed. Next, the decoding program runs, converting the data back into nerve impulse signals. These signals are discharged from the phone's earpiece at approximately 0.2 0.02 amperes, a pretty weak charge. If the recipient has the phone to his ear, they should go straight into his brain, assuming he answers his phone. If he doesn't, the transfer fails. Fortunately, we lose nothing but that copy of the memory data. Why a phone call instead of an email? Because we need the recipient to put the phone to his ear. Otherwise, the signals won't reach his temporal lobe. She indicates to the side of her head. In this area, we have the frontal lobe and temporal lobe of the brain. As I explained before, the hippocampus, where the memories are stored, is inside the temporal lobe. The phone sends out electrical impulses that pass through the temporal lobe into the hippocampus, overriding the recipient's memories. At the same time, the phone sends impulses that stimulate the frontal lobe as well. This is important. Remember that the frontal lobe is responsible for sending retrieval signals to the temporal lobe. This is how you remember things. By stimulating the frontal lobe, we force it to send data retrieval signals keyed to the new memory data. Thus, the recipient recalls only those memories as if they were his own. Which, of course, they are, or will be, in the future. This happens in less than a second. Now the recipient has the same memories as the sender. The time leap is complete. If the data came from 1 week in the future, the recipient will remember that week as if he experienced it firsthand. We need to be aware that consciousness and personality aren't transferred. Both of those depend on the recipient. Explain it with boobs. Boobs? Kurisu dissolves into a blushing, stammering mess. Looks like it's up to me to answer Daru's question. Not with boobs, obviously. Let's say we send your memories to you in grade school. Right now, you're some kind of omnisexual pervert who thinks inanimate objects are hot. But in elementary school, you were still an innocent child. I was a boring little bastard who did nothing but study. What of it? Basically, that little bastard would suddenly have all your preferred memories, but his personality wouldn't change. It's not like you'll become that famous anime detective with the looks of a child and the brains of an adult. What? That sucks. This isn't like the time leaping you see in sci-fi novels. We aren't yet capable of transferring personality and consciousness. Ahem. Since you need a phone to receive the signal, you can only send memories to the times you had one. We also need to make sure that the sender and recipient are the same person. If someone besides your past self, your parents or a friend for instance, answers the phone, then the nerve impulse signals will be projected into their brain instead. If that happens, your memories could overwrite theirs, which would obviously cause serious damage to their psyche. Kurisu ends her explanation and takes a short breath. The lab falls into silence. I exchange glances with Kurisu and Daru. I look at Mayuri, but her expression is blank. I guess it was too complicated for her. So, I clear my throat. It's time for the million-dollar question. What do we do with it? Do with what? The time loop machine, of course. What do we do with it? For once, my assistant has nothing to say. I already know that she fears we've created a monster. Honestly, I feel the same way. After a few moments, Kurisu finally speaks. It's too much for us to handle, that's for sure. The safest thing would be to hand it over to the government for professional research. I can tell that she's not pleased to have reached this conclusion. She obviously would prefer to experiment with this technology. After all, it's humanity's first time machine. We've finally taken our first steps towards godhood. I'm sure that the nations of the world would pay billions for just one look at our machine. The possibilities that it represents are limitless. It just doesn't feel real. Mayushi doesn't get it. That's because you didn't work on it, Mayushi. Oh, right. What about you, Okabe? And I mean you, not Hoin Kiyoma. I agree with Kurisu that the time machine is dangerous. On the other hand, I want to experiment. I state my honest feelings. Kurisu gasps. But there's still questions we need to answer. This is unknown territory, not just for us, but for all of humanity. Who will time leap? I look to each of the lab mems in turn. Dario quickly looks away. Mayuri's expression is blank. Kurisu stares right back at me. It's hard to choose. I'll pass. Huh? Not a single person here wants the honor of being history's first time traveler. Everyone, except for Mayuri, is probably thinking about what could go wrong. What if the time leap were to fail? It's not like Stern's time machine. The possibility of becoming a jellyman is zero. This machine sends data, not the real thing. Don't let your preconceptions influence your decision. You might say it's like a cut and paste of your brain. Actually, it's more like a copy paste, and it's just your memories. The original doesn't get erased. That's a very easy to understand example, but that's not the problem. Time flows in a straight line from past to present to future. At least, that's how most humans see it. This raises several questions. What if there's an error somewhere and the data itself gets fractalized? Let's say I send my memories an hour into the past. My memories would be replaced by fractalized data. In other words, data full of tiny holes. Couldn't that cause memory loss? I suppose. 1 hour later, we arrive once again at the present. At that time, the me who lost his memories an hour ago and the current me conflict in my brain. Which data set survives? Logically, the present should change as soon as you send your memories to the past. Conflicting current me disappears then. So then it's not a copy-paste at all, is it? I don't know, no one's ever experienced time travel before. When we send a D-mail, the world is reconstructed based on the change we made to the past. I'm the only one who's aware of this, however. We don't know what happens when you time leap. If it's the many worlds interpretations like Peter said, then the instant you time leap, it creates two possibilities. One where you shift into another world line, and one where you travel back in time on the same world line. Of course, there must also be a world line where the current you doesn't disappear. That would likely correspond to the present that we are experiencing right now. But that's only if the many worlds interpretation holds in the first place. I thought you didn't believe what Teeter had to say. I'm talking hypothetically. Teeter doesn't matter right now. If it's the Copenhagen interpretation, then every possible state propagates through space as a wave function. When a particular state is observed, the remaining states collapse and that state is fixed. But precise observation is impossible. The problem is who the observer is in this case. Wouldn't it be a third party like me or Mayushi? Not necessarily. It might be me. It might be someone else. It could even be God. To begin with, the Copenhagen interpretation and the many worlds interpretation are both microscale theories used to explain quantum interactions. No one knows whether they can be applied to humans or to the world at large. What about my personal experiences with reading Steiner? If reading Steiner is the sort of power I think it is, then the world line model is correct. In the end, we arrive at the question of where is the self? This time loop machine only sends memories. That I guarantee. Won't the present be reconstructed at the moment of transfer? That's what happens with Okarine's reading Steiner, right? That makes sense where D-mails are concerned. When we send a D-mail, we're obviously interfering in past events. But time leaping is different. All you do is send your memories to the past, which isn't the same thing as sending a targeted D-mail. Whether the me who suddenly remembers 1 hour into the future will in fact change the past is something we can't know until it happens. I'm getting confused. It sounds like we're talking about the soul. Isn't that a religious question? Wait, you guys are misunderstanding something. 1 hour isn't enough time for your personality to change. You should be the same person 1 hour ago that you are now. The only difference is that you'll have an extra hour's worth of memories. How can you be sure? Well, I can't. Nobody's tried it before. This discussion's going nowhere. Personality and consciousness can't be strictly defined, so it's hard to imagine what might happen. So, which is it? We don't know. We can argue the theories all we want, but in the end, we can only guess. This experiment may end up shattering preconceptions scientists and philosophers have held for centuries. We won't know until we try. That pretty much sums it up. To make matters worse, the subject must be prepared to risk damage to their psyche. Kurisu, Daru, and I say no more. We can't solve this problem. This is our limit as scientists. But haven't we accomplished enough already? The time leap machine itself is worthy of a Nobel Prize. We could sell this technology for billions if we so chose. And if we go public with the time leap machine, we can break CERN's monopoly on time travel technology. That's enough. It has to be. Hey. Mayuri, who has been observing the discussion with glassy eyes, opens her mouth to speak. I have an idea. Why don't we make a banana time leap instead? Oh, Mayuri. Bananas don't have brains like people do. Oh, you need a brain, huh? Mayuri never changes. The atmosphere in the room gets a little more relaxed. Let's not experiment. We'll entrust the time leap machine to a suitable research institution, then we'll announce it to the world. Thanks to the lightening of the mood, I can finally say what was on my mind. Neither Kurisu nor Daru objects. I can words, I fucking swear. No one has touched the time leap machine since that discussion. Ridiculous as it sounds, I can't shake the feeling that it might suck my memories out and fling them into the past. Oh, the machine does have its appeal, of course. We're all tempted by the idea of becoming humanity's first time leapers. Yet the fear of what could happen won out in the end. Perhaps as a way to forget our fears and move on, we decided to hold a celebration to mark the completion of the device. Everyone feels the need to let loose after working so hard on the project. I have Daru order pizza while Kurisu and I go shopping for snacks. Sorry. Ow. Akiba has always had a lack of supermarkets. That hasn't changed even with the anime stores gone. After we finish shopping, Kurisu and I walk along the evening streets. She looks like she's got something to say. She keeps stealing glances at me. Are you upset? Upset? She frowns like she didn't expect that question. Finally, she faces this way. About our decision not to attempt a time leap experiment. No, I'm not upset. Humans are temporal beings. That's a Heidegger quote. I was actually relieved when you made the decision not to use the machine. If you hadn't been there, I might not have been able to stop myself. Thank you. What's this? Gratitude? Does she have a fever? I put my hand on her forehead to check. Kurisu twitches. What are you doing? You're talking like an assistant for a change. I thought you might have a fever. I dropped my hand. I'm not grateful to you or anything, okay? Her voice is louder than it should be, and several people glance at us. Kurisu blushes and hangs her head. If Daru were here, he'd probably get all excited and say, "A real tsundere! Sweet!" Anyway, Kurisu clears her throat and returns to her usual sour expression. That thank you was just a formality. Don't get me wrong, okay? Of course, I only did what I had to. I'm the founder of the Future Gadget Lab, Hoin Kiyoma. My first priority is to protect the welfare of my lab members. So I have no need for your thanks. And yet you always talk about plunging the world into chaos. You are my allies, and the world is my enemy. I'm speechless. You're too self-righteous. You say speechless, yet you're speaking? Don't argue semantics. It's quite mysterious, really. It's only been 2 weeks since Kirisa and I met. Oneself. Don't forget what Teeter said. Teeter? What? And yet, it already feels natural for us to be walking together, exchanging banter like this. Perhaps pooling our efforts to create something new, dangerous though it may be, has brought us closer together. I admit that her knowledge and skills are impressive. I'd like her to remain at the lab if at all possible, but she already said she's going back to America this month. It's already the 13th, so I wonder when she plans to return. I decide to ask her. Oh yeah, I forgot to get a plane ticket. I got too caught up in improving the phone wave. Going public with the time leap machine will send the world in an uproar. We also plan to expose CERN, remember? You may not be able to go back to America for some time. I guess you're right. I should call Mama and let her know. Looks like things are going to get busy. Naturally, I want Kirisu to stay with us to the end. A little bit after we return to the lab, Mayuri gets back. Doo-doo, I'm back. Seems Mayuri went to Rukako's. Suzuha shows up a few minutes later, and our development council comes to order. Daru ordered 3 pizzas. We also line up all the snacks we brought on the table. We bought. It's just like the party we had a few days ago to cheer up Suzuha. Mayuri wanted to decorate the room, but since everyone's tired, I dismissed it as unnecessary. It looks like Suzuha managed to retrieve her jacket from Mr. Braun. Man, that was terrible. I was stuck looking like an exhibitionist all day. The Braun Tube workshops closed. Suzuha made sure the 42-inch CRT was turned off, so there's no need to fear any malfunction from the time leap machine. A heavy sigh escapes my throat. I realize that I've been tense and nervous since the time leap machine was completed. Now I can finally relax. The topic of the time leap machine has become taboo. Even Kirisu doesn't bring it up during the meeting. Daru, why did you order the exact same pizza as before? I opened the pizza boxes to find the exact same ones he got for Suzuha's party. Because I like it. Naturally, I'm not amused. Ocarine! I called Ferris-chan and Ruka-chan, but they said they couldn't come. Oh, do they have plans? Ferris-chan has a Rainet tournament. Crap, I should have gone to cheer. How careless of me. And Ruka-chan seems embarrassed for some reason. Maybe she thinks he'll make her wear a costume again. You still haven't convinced her to cosplay? Then what was the point of completing the costume? She said it was embarrassing. I keep telling her cuteness is justice, but she never listens. Cuteness is justice. Is that what they say? You're cute too, Christian. Kirisu doesn't know how to react. She blushes and Mayuri starts teasing her like a drunk old man. There's no alcohol at this party, of course. Hey, Kamiwa's coming up. Wanna go? I can't make something new, but I have a costume of post-awakening Sira from Blood Tune I made last year. I think the size is just right for Christian too. Me? Cosplay? Kirisu looks conflicted, then she murmurs, I'm sorta interested. She sure could have fooled us before, pretending to have no interest in otaku culture. But I refuse to do it in public though. You don't have to show anyone, but eventually you'll want them to see. The cosplay demon compels you. The cosplay demon? That reminds me, Christian, you're always wearing that cute uniform. What school is it from? Oh, this? Kirisu lifts up her necktie. I attended IMAIN for about 2 weeks. I modeled this outfit after their uniform. Oh, their uniform is really cute. You made it even cuter. You might have a really good design sense. I'll bring the costume tomorrow, okay? Will you try it on then? Sure. Looks like Kirisu approves of the cuteness is justice philosophy. When is the photo shoot? Good to know you're still a pervert, Hashida. Come on, it's Platoon Sira. She's got Panmoro going on. Panmoro? It means her panties are completely exposed. No way. It's okay. You might not know this, but last year there was a really popular saying. They're not panties, so it's not embarrassing. It's plenty embarrassing, trust me. Weird, okay? It's a promise. Maybe you shouldn't bother. Suzuha speaks, her tone sharp. She's scowling at Kirisu again. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the room changes. You're asking for trouble by trusting Makise Kirisu. What's that supposed to mean? Naturally, my strong-willed assistant isn't one to back down from a fight. Sparks fly between the two girls. I've been meaning to ask, did I do something to you? Not to me, but I know everything else you have done. What do you mean? I've done nothing to be guilty of. Perhaps, but I know your true nature. Wow, you can see into my heart? That's groundbreaking technology. I'd love to hear how it works. It's not a science, it's a prediction. So you're just making it up. I know. Uh-oh, we've got a situation here. Ocarine. Mary clings to me with teary eyes. Stop them from fighting. This looks like a job for the one and only Hoenn Kioma. Oh dear sweet Jesus. I insert myself between the two girls. Break it up, you two. I, Hoenn Kioma, shall decide this dispute. They both glare at me. Although I'm afraid for my life, I harden my resolve. The mission must succeed. First, I focus on Kirisu. Assistant, I didn't raise you this way. You didn't raise me at all. If you want to become a true mad scientist, you must learn to keep your emotions in check, even as you cackle your way to victory. Nobody asked you, and I'm already a scientist. Next, I switch focus to Suzuha. Warrior, your enemy is Cern, remember? You must conserve your strength for Ragnarok. I warned you before, Okabe Rinchiro. Makise Chirisu is a threat. What? You're going to mention that here? Now? Oh, what's this about, Okabe? Their eyes are like laser beams boring into my skull. I want nothing more than to flee for my life. But Mary is watching me anxiously. I need to defuse the situation. Mwahaha! Looks like neither of you is willing to back down. So be it. Fight to your heart's content. Fight until there's no more fight to be had. Then share a manly handshake by the river and let friendship blossom. But in the future, when it comes time for you to venture out into the real world, I hope you remember one thing. Nobody likes a mood killer. Shut up. Getting yelled at by both of them at the same time sends shivers down my spine. It's coming. I quickly seize my right arm. Gah! Why now of all times? Calm down, right arm of mine. I turn around and head back to Mayuri. I'm sorry, Mayuri. At this rate, I'll end up hurting those two. I have no choice. The rest is up to you. Jeez. Mayuri puffs her cheeks out and goes over to the other two girls. Guys, maybe she doesn't like it when you fight. Let's all get along, okay? Hearing this, the two combatants reluctantly comply. I expected this would happen. Mayuri is the oil that keeps the gears in the lab churning along. The throbbing in my right arm dissipates. Daru comes over to chat with Suzuha, and gradually peace returns to the lab. Kirisu is in the development room making a call, probably to her mother in America. I sit on the sofa and watch TV while sipping Dr. P. The TV is running a game show where contestants guess the prices of popular items at high-class restaurants. Mary sits down next to me. She peels a banana and begins eating it. Hey, Ocarine. Mary slowly looks around the lab, smiling all the while. It's been really lively here the past few weeks, huh? Yeah, I guess it has. I established the Future Gadget Laboratory around the time I entered college. It was the first step in my plan to bring chaos to the world. That was around the middle of March this year, which means it's been almost 5 months. Not half a month after I was established, Mary showed up, I'm still not sure why, and became a lab mem. For about a month, it was just me and Mary. Then, in early May, I finally got Daru to join. All it took was telling him that the lab was just a 3-minute walk from May Queen. This location on the outskirts of Akiba has always been quiet. Mary isn't the type to object to every little thing like Kurisu, nor the type to make dumb jokes like Daru, so the lab was very peaceful back in those days. It was a quite pleasant place to be, and now the lab mem count has increased to 8. It happened in the blink of an eye, or so it seems. Ugh. They didn't come today, but Rukiko visits occasionally, and Ferris is a familiar face at May Queen, or at least she was before May Queen disappeared. I remember feeling out of place the first time I came to Akiba, but now it's like a second home. It's fun. Mayuri too seems pleased by the increase in lab mems. Now that there are 8 lab mems, Mayushi thinks it's getting a little cramped in here. First, we don't have enough chairs. The sofa only has room for 2, and there's Daru's personal desk chair, and those are the only chairs in the lounge. There are some pipe chairs in the development room, but they need to stay there. We should buy more. Do you have money, Ocarine? New chairs will take all my savings. Then I need to get a part-time job again. I guess you can use some of my salary. We need a microwave too, otherwise I can't warm my juicy chicken #1. Yeah, sorry about that. Cutting off Mary's chicken supply might actually kill her. Same, Mary, same. But Mary, when we turn over the time leap machine, the reward money will solve all of our problems. Will it be enough to pay for chairs and a microwave on top of the higher rent? It'll be enough. More than enough. Wow, that's great, Ocarine. Why are you so happy? Just look, we've made so many friends. There's Daru-kun, Chris-chan, Ruka-chan, Suzu-san, Moeka-san, Ferris-chan, Bron-san, Nei-chan, and more. She gazes wistfully into the distance. In the spring, when you started this lab, you seemed so lonely. But now you're fine. You don't need me to be your hostage anymore. What do you mean? I try to ask but before I can finish. Terrorist bomb threat suspends Yamanote Sobu and Keihin Tohoku lines. Jesus Christ. An urgent news bulletin appears on the TV. The subtitle reads what I literally just said. A bomb threat? Hang on. Those lines all pass through Akiba. How is Mayushi gonna get home? Oh yeah, I should call home. A bomb threat. I don't know why, but I've got a bad feeling about this. So do I, but I know why. Only lines passing through Akihabara are suspended, as if that were the target. Wait, could that be it? Could the bomb be at Akihabara Station? I get a cold feeling in my stomach. Okabe Rintaro, I need to know. You've completed the time leap machine, right? Huh? Well, yeah. Okay. I just remembered I've got something to do. I'm going out. Suzuha leaves the lab without another word. What's wrong with her? Suzuha's acting strange. Is it related to the bomb threat? Why did she just ask about the time leap machine? Something occurs to me. The two threatening emails I've received. We're watching you. You know too much. Who sent them? And there's more. Words and images flash through my head. CERN. The LHC. Jellyman. The Z program. Government secrets. The organization. Men in Black. The Committee of 300. The Time Leap Machine. What did Kurisu say? We may have created a monster here. Taken separately, each of these elements was insignificant. But if I consider them part of a single line, they all point to one inescapable truth. We've come too far. Fear seizes my heart in an icy grip. I can feel anxiety eating at my brain. I can't breathe. Even though it's hot and humid, my body shivers. Should we run? Get out while we still can? We can't use the trains. What about the subway? Or would a taxi be better? Nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. What should we do? Suddenly there's a softness against my hand. I look down and see Mayuri's hand holding mine. When I look up, I see worry written on her face. It's okay. I'm just being paranoid. It's all a coincidence. Tomorrow we'll get rid of the time leap machine. Then we can forget that all of this happened. Pretend it was just a dream. We never invented a time machine. I don't need money. As long as I can forget about today and welcome tomorrow. We'll be okay, won't we? But my anxiety doesn't go away. I look over Mayuri's head at the entrance to the lab. The door is unlocked. Anyone could just waltz right in. I hear sirens wailing a few streets away. The bomb threat has Akiba in an uproar. Yet here, in our corner of Akiba, it's so quiet. Mayuri squeezes my hand with her warm, slender fingers. I squeeze back. Oh, shit! The next thing I know, the door slams open. 5 men burst into the lab. Their movements are swift and sure, professional, and each of them is carrying a gun. They spread out just inside the door and aim their weapons at us. It all happens so fast, no one has time to scream. The men are foreigners, a mix of races, dressed casually in colorful shirts and shorts or jeans. But their arms are thick with muscle and their eyes are hard and cold as ice. 2 of them are holding pistols, the other 3 have assault rifles. AK-47s and Akiba? Is this some kind of a joke? One thing is certain, these guys aren't tourists. Hands in the air, nobody move. The dark-skinned crew-cut man barks an order. It feels like I'm dreaming. Did I fall asleep watching an action movie? This is the first time so many people have gathered in this room. Suddenly the lab feels small. What an odd thing to be thinking at a time like this. The first to obey is Daru. Then Kirisu raises her hands. Then me. Last is Mayuri. Silence. Time seems to grind to a halt. The men say nothing, but their guns remain steady, muzzles pointed at us. On the TV, a comedian laughs. What is this? Are we on candid camera? Then I hear a new sound coming from outside. The sound of high heels. A woman is coming up the stairs. Are these men waiting for her? Is she their leader? A squad of battle-hardened commandos led by a beautiful woman it's like something out of a manga. Nothing seems real. Before long, the woman appears. Yep. Kiryu Moeka. The part-time editor. The male demon, Shining Finger, who is never without her phone. LabMem 005. Moeka? She's their leader? The least imposing woman I've ever met? Even now, she doesn't meet my stare. Her eyes are aimed down at the floor. What's going on here? Moeka-san? We're taking the time machine. As always, her words are barely audible. It's ridiculous, laughable, and yet I can't laugh. My heart is a jackhammer in my chest. The inside of my mouth is drier than a desert. I stay still with my hands in the air. Makise Kirisu, Okabe Rinchiro, Hashida Itaru, the 3 of you will come with us. I don't understand. Why is Moeka here? I don't know, but I have to ask. What's going on here? I can't answer that. This is a joke, right? Moeka shakes her head. You don't need to know. You can't resist. Come with us. Where? No reply. She doesn't intend to answer that either. Dangerous. These guys are dangerous. Look at their guns. Nothing good can happen if we go with them. I try to refuse, but my voice catches in my throat. I can't stop staring at their guns. Are they real? They're not going to start shooting, are they? I'm not going anywhere until you answer. You can't refuse. You have nowhere to run. We have men stationed throughout Akihabara. Wait. Something clicks in my head. It was them. They sent the bomb threat. They stopped the trains. Why? To keep us here? Just for that? I don't want to hurt anyone. The 3 of you come with us. Why? Kirisu, who has kept silent until now, finally opens her mouth. Why just the 3 of us? That's when I realized that Mayuri wasn't included in Moeka's command. She only wants Kirisu, Daru, and me. I'm not answering your questions. Come with us. It's your only choice. We're not getting anywhere. Oh, Karine. Daru's voice is shaking. I turn my head to look at him. He's deathly pale. Don't you think we should do what she says? But unless she tells me the reason, honestly, I have no idea what to do. My heart is still fluttering in my chest. This seems more like a dream than reality. I'm not a military otaku. I've never seen a real gun. The black shine of their weapons somehow looks tacky. They lack the imposing feel you expect. I'd believe her if she told me they were fake. Mayuri suddenly speaks up. Moeka-san, you're a lab mem too, aren't you? It's as if Mayuri asked my question for me. Moeka was a strange woman, but I welcomed her as a lab mem all the same. What is she thinking right now? In answer. Jesus Christ. Moeka pulls a gun from her belt and points it at us. I realize that Moeka isn't holding her phone. This is the first time I've seen her without it. Not like that matters now. Moeka's gun hand is trembling. Is the situation affecting her too? It must be. She's terrified of talking to people. Our mission is to silence you. Silence us? Your refusal to come will change nothing. Does that mean she plans to kill us? Why? What did we do? Who sent you? Who are you people? We. Moeka suddenly lifts her head. For perhaps the third time since I've known her, she looks straight at me, her eyes dark and empty. Are from CERN. Oh, fuck. CERN? M4. The dark-skinned man speaks up. Is he addressing Moeka? Watch your tongue. Moeka hangs her head again. In my head, I replay the words she just spoke. CERN. They're from CERN? Why CERN? Of course, who else could it be? Come with us, now. Moeka raises her voice in frustration. If you continue to resist, I'll have to resort to extreme measures. Moeka slowly raises her gun. She points the muzzle at Mayuri. Oh god. I know what's coming, and this part's gonna make me sad. My whole body goes instantly cold. Sheena Mayuri is not needed. Stop. I lunge at Moeka, but the dark-skinned man is faster. Gah! Something strikes my chin with crushing force. The shock numbs my entire body. Stars explode behind my eyes. I fall to my knees, powerless to stand. Everything goes dark. What happened? Did he hit me with the butt of his rifle? Ocarine! I look up. Mayuri, face streaked with tears, is reaching out to me as if I begged for help. As if begging for help, sorry. Over her shoulder, I see Moeka ready her gun. Mayuri, no! I try to yell stop, but my voice catches in my throat. Nothing comes out but a pitiful wheeze. Someone. Anyone. Please. Stop her. Stop Moeka. Moeka's lips move. She's mumbling something. For CERN, for FB, for CERN, for FB. Her mouth opens and closes robotically. My blood curdles. No. A sharp, dry crack splits the air. Time slows to a crawl. Moeka pulled the trigger. Jesus. Blood spurts from Mayuri's forehead. It splashes across my face, wet and warm. Her delicate, frail body falls towards me. I catch her. Her body's limp, like a puppet with no strings. Her head and arms dangle lifelessly. The smell of gunpowder fills my nose. And then the smell of blood. Ew, does blood smell? As a vampire, you'd think I'd know the answer to that, but... Wah! Daru clutches his head and falls to his knees, screaming at the top of his lungs. The sound jerks me back to my senses. In my arms, Mayuri takes one short, shallow breath. And then... Okay. Mayuri? No. No! She's dead. Fuck. Don't make me cry. Mayuri's dead. Her face is covered in blood. Her blood stains my hands. It's warm. You three come with us, now. No more warnings. Resist and we'll kill you too. I hear a voice, but I can't comprehend what it's saying. What is this? What's going on here? Is this a joke? We may have created a monster here. This is a dream, right? Right? I feel nothing. My mind is blank. I shake Mayuri's shoulder. Mayuri? Wake up, Mayuri. You'll catch cold if you sleep here. If you're tired, you can stay overnight. Or I can take you home if you prefer. We'll ride the train back to Ikebukuro together like we used to before Daru joined, when it was just the two of us. Memories of her smile whirl through my head, 1,000 different smiles from 1,000 different occasions. If I look away, she'll disappear. She always disappears. But now you're fine. You don't need me to be your hostage anymore. No, Mayuri, I still need you. Laugh for me, like you always do. Greet me with your silly toot-to-doo. Tell me it's a lie. Tell me you're alright. Mayuri? I'm not gonna scream, but I think you get it. Red flames consume my mind, an inferno of rage and hate, and the burning desire to kill everything I see. I gently lay the motionless Mayuri on the floor. I stand up, and then I fling myself at Moeka. Okabe! But before I can take a step, someone grabs my hand from behind. You can't. Let me go. Let me go. You can't. They'll kill you. Moeka's gun is aimed at my head. Her finger's already on the trigger. You're gonna kill me too? If you resist. Please, Okabe, do what she says, okay? Otherwise, they'll kill you too. I tear my hand from Kirisu's grip. My vision is a tunnel with Moeka on the other side. She won't get away with this. She killed Mayuri in cold blood. I'll do the same to her. No! Moeka pulls the trigger. She missed. I hope. The sound of the shot smites upon my eardrums. I feel a sharp pain on the side of my head. I nearly lose my balance again, but I'm still alive. What happened? I realize that Moeka's gun is lying at her feet. Beside it is a small stone. Someone must have thrown it and knocked her gun aside. Get down. Oh, what up? Suddenly, Suzuha is there in the doorway, knocking one man down in the blink of an eye. Before anyone can react, she darts into another man's range, delivering a piercing elbow strike to his solar plexus. The man drops to his knees, gasping for air. The remaining men turn their guns on her, but she throws the incapacitated man towards them to block their aim. She then slides into the feet of the man at the rear, tripping him forward in a single smooth, flowing motion, driving her knee into the man's face as he falls. Who the hell? The dark-skinned man aims his rifle, but before he can fire, Suzuha snatches a stunned attacker's gun and shoots him. Blood spurts from the man's head. Without pausing, Suzuha leaps into the air and delivers a soaring roundhouse kick to his jaw. Enough. Shit. The next thing I know, the 5 men are down. Moeka's gun is aimed at Suzuha's face. But Suzuha doesn't back down. Her gun is trained on Moeka's neck. It's a standoff. Neither moves. Silence returns to the room. Who are you? 42. Suzuha's reply makes no sense. She glances at me. TV. What is she saying? Turned on. What? Suddenly, Kirisu springs up and makes a break for the development room. Don't move. That's my line. I suddenly realizing the meaning of Suzuha's words. The 42-inch TV downstairs. It's on. She wants me to use the time leap machine? I look at Mayuri's body. She's lying there quietly. Her eyes are closed. They'll never open again. One of the men Suzuha knocks out starts to moan. If they wake up, it's all over. Suzuha looks at me again. Her eyes implore me to make my move. If I use the machine, I can avert Mayuri's death. But at the same time, it could fry my brain. Fry my brain? So what? What is there to fear? Okabe. Mayuri is dead, shot in cold blood. This isn't right. I won't accept it. Then change it. Change the past. You have the power. Use it. I stagger into the development room. Kirisu is about to put on the headgear. I pull it away from her. Okabe, I'm going back. No, I should be the one to... I grab Kirisu's wrist as she tries to take it back. I stare into her eyes wet with tears. I will save Mayuri. But what if it fails? I ignore her and put on the headgear. Moeka's last shot grazed the side of my head. My ears are still ringing and there's blood on my neck. It doesn't matter. I might fail. I might even die. But I have to try. It's my only chance to save Mayuri. Kirisu bites her lip and activates the X-68,000. Okabe Rintaro, one of them's moving. Get in there. Kill them. Damn, kids. The crewcat man staggers into the development room. Acting purely on instinct, I grab future gadget number 4, mode snake from the shelf, and flick the switch. White smoke instantly fills the room, rendering it impossible to see. Kill them! Ugh. Kirisu? Okabe, are you sure? Are you sure about this? Really? Do it, Kirisu. Activate the machine. Ugh. Pain flares in my right arm. Was I shot? It doesn't matter. I see blue-white light shining through the smoke. The discharge is starting. The light rapidly grows brighter. The floor begins to shake. The singularity is open. I crouch down, holding the headset steady with one hand. Wait for me, Mayuri. I won't die here. I'll cross through time to save you. Leap my memories. Leap to the past. Leap! The world explodes into light. Ouch. Oh, that's cool. Chapter 6. That's a perfect time to end. Really? I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you for the next one soon. Bye-bye.